Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on and behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every night at midnight Eastern. Around an hour each night, we talk about guns. Got a couple of people joining us tonight. We got Cycle Camp jumping in from Connecticut. Thanks again for joining.
Yep, thanks for the invite.
And then, what are we calling you?
You can call me Steve. That's why I'm on Instagram, Steven Johnson.
Right on. Steve joining us. Where are you from?
Missouri.
Right on. So I'm down here in Tucson, and it is episode, 577. So, yeah, kind of redoing the show, I guess. Don't have any hosts anymore, so I appreciate you guys jumping in. Kind of just throw it out there to gun channels. We go live when we get hosts, and everybody jumped in right at the beginning today, so we went live right on time. Appreciate that. Bunch of people watching us over on the YouTube side. Of course, we run the show there. Simulcast over on gunchannels.com where we're watching the live comments, and then it gets pushed up on the iTunes and whatnot. So today being Wednesday, we usually talk about entertainment. Schedule has top movies with worst gun handling. So the worst gun handling in movies, I guess. Doing good idea, bad idea, leaving guns in holsters. And then probably do the hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown, where we look at the people that have been using the hashtag Daily Gun Show over on the Instagrams. So before we dig into it, anything going on? Anything worth talking about?
No, I shot a centerfire match tonight and did pretty miserable because I forgot I hadn't eaten all day. So I wasn't able to keep my hand steady.
So you shot it at night. Was it indoor or outdoor?
It's outdoor, late in the afternoon. I mean, I did pretty well. I shot 91-90, 91-88, which is really not bad. You know, top score's 100 at 25 yards with a 38. But if I had remembered I hadn't fed myself, I probably could have done a little better.
So there was like noticeable, just trying to hold the gun steady kind of thing?
Yeah, when you hold the gun up, it was just, I couldn't stop my hand from twitching. But could have been worse. It was still fun.
That's how you learn, right?
That's it.
Well, and I think a decent score, even with a situation like that, is what it's all about, right? When you have that, you have the skill and you've got the knowledge of what to do and you got a good tool, then it's just all about getting everything to line up right. When they say the stars align, and that's what they're talking about, right? Like having just a good day, good mental state, physically ready for it, and then, no wind or whatever messing with you.
Yep. The only problem was me, so not bad at all. And midnight's right. I should have had bacon pancakes before I went to the range. Then I would have been all set.
Because for me, I've always bought the perfect equipment because I do my research and I don't cut any corners. And I'm also always at the height of physical shape, but then there's always wind. That's what gets me. Otherwise, I'd be shooting perfect all the time. But it's Al Gore and the way the weather changing gets me.
Yeah, it's all his fault. There's, climate change. I mean, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's windy. That guy was right.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand like the curvature of the earth and that kind of stuff. That's math, and I can account for that. But that weather, it's chaotic. Anyway, so getting into, is this one of your topics again? Top movies with worst gun handling? I don't think so.
No, but I think the guns and holsters is.
I think that one's recycled. We talked about that one a while back in the Bob era. But we'll dig into top movies with worst gun handling. So basically movies with bad gun handling.
Oh,
we got a couple of them out there already. Matrix with a question mark coming in from Pickle.
I didn't think The Matrix had exceptionally bad gun handling.
I mean, it's not great. It's not great gun stuff because I'm thinking of the scene where they're the first Matrix, when they're in the hallway or whatever, what is it called, the lobby, I guess, of that hotel, and they're running around shooting. They drop like live cases, like dropping cartridges.
But at least their guns have recoil.
Yeah. But it was also just mind blowing the way they did their crazy special effects and stuff. I mean, they took it to a whole nother level. So it's hard to complain about their gun handling when they kind of focused on it in a whole different way with that whole slow motion spinning around.
Oh yeah, the wire stunts were just phenomenal.
Giles was saying Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah, they're pretty sloppy with guns in Smokey and the Bandit. I watched that not too recently here, or not too far. Maybe last year sometime.
Oh yeah, you'd think Buford Puster would shoot himself.
But they don't barely.
That was horrible.
He just like shoots it up in the air recklessly and stuff, if I remember right. But Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man, the poor gun handling. Or is he saying like bad manipulation, like fake stuff, or is he saying like sweeping each other and fiddling with triggers when somebody's in front of them, kind of thing? What do you think of when we're thinking poor gun handling?
Well, I've never seen a Marlboro Man messing around with his six gun, but
trying to remember, maybe when they were showing each other their guns or something. But there might be a part where they're getting ready for a heist or something where they're bad with their guns.
Well, things like guys racking their semi-automatics every time they're going to shoot.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you know they already, you know, the guy just press checked the gun 2 scenes earlier, so you know there's a round in there, and when he racks it, nothing comes out.
Oh yeah, exactly. When they go up to, like, let's pull a bunch of guns out of the trunk or a bag, because it's usually out of a duffel bag or a trunk, and then and they're just all standing around racking guns into each other's abdomens. Like,
yeah,
already.
So that's what I call bad gun handling. I call bad gun handling, first of all, stuff you just shouldn't do, like Gelsman says in the chat, you know, flagging and sweeping and stuff. But for me, it's just stuff that doesn't make any sense at all. With the exception, I will say the exception is the Harley Quinn, because she was pulling the trigger and the hammer wasn't coming back or something, and apparently that's actually how that gun actually works. So if you pre-cock the gun, the Rhino, if you pre-cock the Rhino, it cocks the internal hammer, and when you pull the trigger, the outside hammer spur doesn't move. Correct. So I always thought that was bad gun handling, but it turns out I was wrong, because that's how the gun actually works.
Yeah. Have you played with the Rhino before?
No, but I happened to I actually got that off one of Yankees chats where he was showing how the gun actually physically operated. He had one taken apart and he was showing how the action actually worked.
Oh, okay, yeah, I figured that out one time at SHOT Show. I was just playing with it. I'm like, oh, this is the way they are. Is it weird? So,
oh, that Steadley's got a great one in the YouTube chat. When they rack a Glock, but what you hear is the hammer rack sound like on a 1911.
Right. Or you hear cocking.
That's hilarious.
Hammer on a Glock.
Chelsman has a 36 cap and ball. That would be like the Navy, right? The Colt Navy.
Yeah.
I actually have one that I've never shot. They put it on sale at Cabela's like a year and a half ago, and I bought one and threw it in the closet. I just haven't used it yet. Shameful. Shameful.
Midnight had a good one. Pulp Fiction, where what's his face shoots the other dude in the face accidentally while they're driving. So that's
yeah, that was hilarious, but bad.
Right. I mean, that's designed to be part of the movie, obviously, but yeah, that would be the ultimate in bad gun handling.
But he must have had the lightest trigger like ever.
There's quite a bit of Old West stuff where it's kind of weird, because when you got a single action with the hammer down and you just shot it, I don't know how much of that was like people just knew that was no longer a dangerous gun. Like, that was not going to be in any danger of going off again. You know, it already went off once. So people pointed with them all the damn time. You see that in movies a lot. Point at each other and point at stuff casually. And I wonder how much of that is just movie. They don't care. They don't care if they're giving a bad idea to people or, reckless behavior, or if that's literally just back in the day, people understood that that was about as dangerous as pointing around any piece of metal.
I think they were just trying to portray gun owners as jerks.
Yeah, like literally, like as reckless. They don't care that they're throwing. In fact, they were trying to give the perception that this thing could go off at any moment. Like they didn't. They were. And you're saying that they were banking on people not understanding that single action that had already gone off and hadn't been cycled or anything was, inert. They were hoping that people would think of that as like the reckless gun owner who just casually points his dangerous weapon at people.
Mm. Calaveras and the gun channels chat, hip firing on the Rifleman TV show. I always thought that was cool. But what killed me was he had specially modified the lever on that gun with a nut and a bolt so that it would come back and grab the trigger on the way by. And how did he know when to set it and when not to set it?
Well, that's the thing. There's a little cam in there. So what you're talking about is a little device that'll go on the lever, and then you flip it, and when you drop the lever, when you close the lever, it pulls the trigger, and when you flip that thing out of the way, it doesn't pull the trigger anymore, and then you just close the lever normally.
Oh, I remember an episode of that where they were actually showing him working on his gun, and it looked like all he had done was drilled and tapped a bolt hole through the what would have been the trigger guard of the lever, and he just had a little bolt that stuck up through there with a nut to lock it in place. And when that thing came by, it pulled the trigger, and once it pulled the trigger, it could slip by it, so he could pull it out and rack it again. So I don't know.
I've seen it been more like a little tear-shaped piece of metal, and then like say it's got a hinge on the one side, so it just hinges out of the way when you don't want it to do that. But when you want it to do that, it's basically every time you cycle the lever, it's shooting.
Yeah, I've seen that on like the replica and the kids' guns, but I've never seen that for real. So maybe I'll see that one of these days. That'd be kind of cool.
But yeah, that's definitely one.
I hear what you're saying though. It's like a sheath, and it pops up. It like snaps up, and then it, while you're hammering the gun, it works, and then when you're done using it, you flip it back down again.
Yeah.
So that I can understand how that would work.
Slim is saying,
that's right, Pants. That's the original bump stock.
Seriously? Well, kinda. But yeah, it was a device that would allow the thing to continue. You still had to be involved. If you weren't racking the lever with gusto, it wasn't happening.
Potatoes has another really good one. When a full auto gun goes click, 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 like a revolver would do when it's empty.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's another really bad one.
Well, here's the thing, though. That really happens with single action semi.
You mean a double action only semi-automatic?
Well, single action, double action, or a double action only, I guess. But yeah, it'll happen.
No, because in a single double, you still have to rack the slide to engage the striker, unless it's hammer fired.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess what we're talking about is I'm thinking of like the single doubles I've had, the Rugers and Smiths and stuff. You could pull it back and make it single, or you could pull it double. But I guess you could also say the double action only.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, it could happen on double action only semi for sure,
yep.
And with the revolver as well. Okay, sometimes I hear you. That's annoying, especially when it's wrong, like on a Glock where the trigger goes dead and you can pull the trigger all day and night. Nothing's going to happen. But the thing is, beyond that, on a dead trigger, nobody's pulling the trigger. You know it's dead because it doesn't come back. There's nothing to pull. But on the other side of that, that's the reason I'm not a big fan of double actions for some things, because that's what will happen is you're in a stress, you're pulling the trigger on empty, and your mind is thinking pull trigger, pull trigger, pull trigger, but it's not getting the input from nothing's happening, so you're just going through a loop. So that can happen with a double action. It's just that it's usually fake in the movie, so it's happening on like a Glock or 1911 or something. But yeah, when a full auto like an AK or an M16 or something goes empty, they act like it's a, I don't even know if a Gatling gun. What happens when a Gatling gun, when it goes empty? It still goes around.
It would still crank, right?
No,
and the hammers would still drop.
but I don't think you hear the hammer going click, 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 click. But on a Gatling gun, you might.
Yeah, I think you might. Yeah.
Click, click, click. Well, I was thinking a minigun. A minigun, all you'd hear is the motor. But on a Gatling gun, you'd hear the click, 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 click. I know for a fact because I've pulled cranks on empty Gatling guns before. Let's see. Bob saying Kevin Costner. What? Oh.
You're talking about a movie.
All right. Well, so that was our movies, I guess. We'll move on. So that was movies with poor gun handling. If you know of any, then talk about them in your own chat, or you can email us, I guess, and we'll. I don't know what we do with them, so don't email us. Go talk about them in your own chat. Have a discussion in real life. Go to the range or something, and think about that as a topic if there's a dead spot in real life in the conversation.
Yeah, and I want to make just a brief comment, and maybe we can do this on another show, but most semi-automatic striker-fired guns that are advertised as being double action are not double action because they do not engage the sear all the way back and pull it all the way back and let it go. On almost all of those guns, you have to move the slide at least a little bit to reset the trigger mechanism or it will not go off again. So I have a real problem with guns that call themselves double action when they're not really true double actions.
Well, those are striker fire. Or are you going to call them something else?
No, they're striker fired, but I actually have a striker fired gun that has more closer to true double action because if you pull it and it doesn't go off, you can release the trigger, reset, and it'll pull again and pull the striker back again.
Yeah, I do not like that. But what guns are you talking about that go around acting like double actions? Or are you just saying like, and people just assume they're double actions?
Well, all the other guns that I have are not true double actions, and people keep saying they are, and but most of them. The slide resets the striker back about 90%, and you just move it the last like 1/8 to 3/8 of an inch.
Right, you're just letting the striker go, really. But you're talking not like they're marketing it as double action. You're just saying people think of them or talk about them as if they're double action when they're striker.
Well, they say they're double action, and they say that's how come you don't need a safety. You know, that's why you don't need a safety with these striker fire guns because they're like double action only. And it's like, no, they're like double action, single actions, and they're not. They're really closer to single action guns.
I hear you. I've described the Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't get why they say that striker fire guns are double action either, but that kind of makes sense with them saying that the trigger pulls a little bit heavier than a single action. But doesn't really make sense, but kind of like brings it together a little bit.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. So if you're talking to people that are gun knowledgeable, and they understand what a double action only is. They understand what a single action is, at least concerned with the trigger pull or the length of trigger pull, the action of the trigger. So if you tell them a striker fire is more like double action, I've used that to describe it, but I didn't mean mechanically or other characteristics. Just so much that you have to pull the trigger. So like a Glock has a double action like trigger, and that you have to pull it every time, as opposed to a single action where once you pull at the first, or a double single where you pull it the first time and now it's a single action trigger subsequently. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of people that, well, honestly though, strikers are like that crazy, gray area, I guess. There's more than one type of striker, and there've been strikers. Bob will tell you they've been around since World War I or something crazy. So been around for a long time.
Yeah, and I would definitely disagree with Dead Horse, who says that double action implies that you don't have that double action does not imply that you have second strike. The definition of a double action is when you squeeze the trigger, it engages the striker or hammer and cocks it and then releases it. So yeah, I would say a true double action actually does have second strike and has as many strikes as you want. But see, they sort of, it's like when you're talking about striker fired pistols, double action doesn't quite mean what it means in the revolver world. It's a little bit different. And I'd be happy, but they ought to call it something different. I don't like warping the definition, and of things, because language is important and you shouldn't have the thing. Right, but Dead Horse, the two actions that the trigger performs is pulling back the hammer or pulling back the striker and then releasing it.
I think I agree with that. Yeah.
You got me on that one. So, and I'm sure there are exceptions that prove the rule, but I'm just saying if you look up the definition of double action versus single action, the purest, from my purest point of view, every time I pull that trigger, that hammer ought to fall or that striker ought to fall. Go look it up. So anyway,
Right
so
on.
that's
So
the deal.
we're gonna dig into. I don't know how far back. I don't think we did this last week. Did we do the hashtag Daily Gun Show thing last week? I don't remember. So I don't remember how far back we went. Somebody will let us know, I suppose, if we go back too far. How far back is this one? May 9th. Far. Yeah, that's 2 weeks ago. So the 16th. I think I remember doing his bench. It's a free fishing tournament. So that's 5 days ago. Getting closer. 7 days ago. We'll start here. So here's a blatant attempt to get Angelina, but she's not here. What do we got going on here? Remember these things? My grandpa used to have one of these little key rings that are metal with a little razor blade type of knife in there. Pretty handy. A little set of those tweezers. Looks like somebody goes to County Com. One of these two AAA lights. It's pretty handy. I haven't seen those in orange. I could probably handle that. Is that a big enough wallet for y'all?
Yeah, I can dig it.
Too little. Angelina reposted my picture of that patch that she's got over there. Some kind of $5 DIY reel spooler pencil. Lead trap. Interesting. How long do you think this is going to last with just some pipes in the dirt? So Pink got some high cap mags for his shotgun, which is good.
Is he shooting a tire?
In that one, I think he's shooting at a piece of metal inside of there and then letting the tire collect the lead.
Oh, that's right. Yep, that's right. He flips it down when it pulls back. It drops down in. I think he said something about that in one of the other chats.
Yeah, it'd be kind of neat. Have a tire hanging on a chain maybe or something. I'm wondering if this thing is that thing really like that, or is that just there so it doesn't jam into your other guns in the safe? Little thing on the charging handle. And Clover doing some sort of an old Enfield pod. Borderized it. Moon is Beretta 11. I guess they have extended mags for Berettas now. This is one of the Glock hump and a Walther.
Walther, yeah.
I don't know what the outcome of that is. What do you think of these grips on this one?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like those or not.
I looks like
I
the
like them.
texturing would work really well.
Another one of his pistol sacks. Kind of interesting. Got him balancing a rifle on a Glock knife. What is that thing? It's not a 22. Oh, I guess it is a 1022. Damn.
I actually like the ones where he sticks a knife in a tree and puts a gun on it, and I think that's the first rifle we've seen.
I think so.
Pretty nice.
And here's that. He posted that one. Kind of free fishing tournament. Took his kid to that. I don't know if he said if he won or not. Some kind of muzzle brakes. Patriot joined FBC out of California. Worth joining. $50 and you get the patch and whatever, but you're also on their books as a member. Sandhills has some. Oh, that's a sticker. I thought that was a business card.
Yeah, nice patch.
sticker.
Is that the communist star up there?
I think that's because that's where he's at.
Just kidding, Sam Hills. No offense.
Is the kid back there? I don't know if he won or not.
He's dead.
Roll call putting the Night Strike sticker on his car.
Yeah.
The one from Moon. This one, I think he took this like in somebody's bathroom or something, right? On that shiny tile. I think he goes to like, oh, see, he did take that thing off. So that thing is just on there so it doesn't jam other guns in the safe.
Hmm.
There he's out threatening the sky.
Geez, I wish they'd make it for some of the milsurps I have. Keep them from clunking each other.
These little things to jab on there. You can take a piece of like that hose from like, vacuum hose or like a fish tank hose and just a little piece of that and jab it on one.
Oh, yeah, but the handles on the bolt handles on a milsurps are a lot bigger. You have to use like a garden hose or something.
Yeah, exactly. Find the right diameter. But yeah, something like that, just a inch long, and then stop them from jabbing.
They do make really big clear plastic hose for medical use. So.
Oh yeah, you can get it at the hardware store. There's all kinds of apps for it. Yeah, so not expensive. But this is highly detailed for being it's wrong. I mean, it's Han Solo's blaster. It ain't. But look at all the detail.
The dust cover's legit.
Yeah. So kind of neat. The orange one, I voted orange.
Yeah, Angelina's. Yeah.
That's a nice one. Again,
I really don't. Is that another Walther?
That's the Beretta.
Oh, okay. Pretty aggressive cuts in that sucker.
Yeah, seriously. Let's make it so that it destroys every holster after a few months of using it.
Oh, I mean, you could reset that on just about anything.
Oh yeah, that's going to reset just accidentally.
Pretty cool.
And if you get stuck somewhere, you can always saw wood with it. So this seemed like a waste of a bunch, but all right. I guess that was kind of neat that he dipped it. I thought at first it was heat shrink, but yeah, it's kind of neat. He just dipped it in the can.
What is that? Oh, that's a can opener, ain't it?
Yeah, he just welded a wrench onto his can opener because it broke. It's too cheap to buy another can opener, I guess.
Oh.
We got that block all whited out.
Going to ruin his light sticking it in the dirt like that.
Can't believe he put a fish guts on the internet.
Well, he's probably getting ready to use that as a suppressor.
Oh, I thought he was going to say sex toy, and then it would be okay for YouTube.
Free. That's a free range suppressor, right? Go out to the lake and catch them.
So this one was one of the early watch people from Minnesota last night with a few minutes before the midnight deadline. House adjourned. Senate adjoining a few minutes later. Closed the books. No gun control passed. No gun control bills even made it out of a committee. No gun control amendments were adopted on the floor. And I guess that's pretty good.
Nice.
Here.
Well, he's just trying to make me feel bad.
Keep rolling.
Oh, that's cute.
Good job, Bailey. Got more fish than your dad has so far.
All right, bring it up to the bank.
Well,
Go up to the
actually,
bank.
he's a real fish.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
good.
stop rolling.
Yeah, don't reel it any further than that.
Go up to the bank.
Like 4 people telling her, mansplaining fishing to her.
First fish was a
Freaking caught
smallmouth.
that thing all by herself.
The guy on Match Chat. No, don't do that. Yeah, do this other thing.
You help her, Jeff?
Pretty cool.
That's nice stuff.
A lot of people out there fishing this year.
I don't know how they can stand the mosquitoes.
Yeah, they get used to it, I guess.
Well, I like that two-tone, and I really like how he did the lettering on that. That is slick.
Not quite white. It's sort of a grayish. Yeah.
Yeah, but it almost matches the furniture. Pretty nice.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely put that on my contenders list.
What is this? Piece of Lego head sticking out of a 9mm. See, that's when you got to shoot a piece of Lego over like attach it to a Lego set really far away.
It's probably a Batman thing. Was he doing a house clearing?
I don't know if
he just shot a priest.
Part of it, or it's just happening in the show.
Oh, was that from NRA?
Yeah, that was at NRA. So I don't know if the music was just in the background or if these speakers here are blowing music out like it'd be supposed to be at some kind of club.
Those systems are wicked expensive.
Yeah, I've seen some really, really elaborate ones. This one looks a little bit cartoony. There's some would have live action and stuff for $1,000. First year, second year at Sands, there was one downstairs for $1,000. You put your own video into it. You put a laser, like a thing from Crimson Trace or Laser Light, into your gun, and then so any gun with a laser would work with it, and it came with like a camera. It was like $1,000. So that was just a home unit. Yeah, and then there's the crazy elaborate ones that have like multiple projectors and follow you around and see what you're doing. That doesn't matter what gun you're using. They're definitely developing the heck out of that. There's a place in Phoenix where it's just that's all they do. It's like a range, but it's all simulated stuff like that. All kinds of recreational stuff too, just shooting Hooligan's Alley, or whatever they call it, Hogan's Alley type of stuff.
So is it a completely simulated range?
Yeah, no real guns, just all that booze and food and like upscale. Here's something different to do. Come out and shoot laser guns at walls.
I guess it would be kind of cool to be able to drink and shoot.
It sounds like, I mean, just watching their Instagram, it seems like a lot of people enjoy it. And it's, like I say, it's not so much like this kind of thing, like clearing a house, as much as just, shoot at, like shooting games, like on a...
Like the duck hunt.
Not even, yeah, but like just shooting at circles or shooting the numbers in order or something, just kind of skill tests or puzzles more than anything. So let's say Pink got one of his extended mags. I can't tell. I'm guessing that's metal. Oh yeah, he said it's metal. Pulver's patch coming. Looks pretty good. Learning how to get dealing with the art and the vendors and whatnot. Looks pretty decent.
He rotated the Leprechaun a little bit.
What do you mean?
Usually the gun is pointed more up in the air and the head is right at 12 o'clock.
Ah, okay. Well, I mean, the patch is the angle of the patch, too. So
yeah, he looks angrier that way.
Got a lot of detail in that gun and stuff.
Yeah.
There's another one. I wonder how come he doesn't color code his calibers and his Glock on his mag. So another clickbait. Shooting.
That's funny.
Old gun from the olden days. We used to go out to this one place and the mud would get like this after a while. So it was cool to take pictures on, I thought. Got his Patreon listed there. Pretty good idea. 9mm. What happens when you shoot 9mm a person? It just falls off like that. Keeping the weather away.
That bayonet was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice silhouette picture. This one, I didn't know any of the guns on that bracket today. Anybody know any of these guns?
Was this a 20 gauge one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew almost all of those.
Which one did you want to win?
I like the Silver Reserve. The over and under 20 gauge shotgun. But my rationale was, it was not cost, because they're not cheap. They're not real expensive, but they're not cheap. But my thing is, if you're teaching a kid to shoot, and especially if you're shooting skeet or you're shooting hunting, where you want them to be able to get a second shot off, trying to teach a kid to use a pump action shotgun is really tough. And everybody says, oh, yeah, once you get used to it, it's not a problem. It's never a problem. Well, if I had a nickel for every time I watched a video on somebody evaluating a new gun and he short-shucked the gun, and these are people that are experienced and know what the hell they're doing, it happens all the time. I don't give a shit how long you've been using those guns.
Well, pumps are for 5 rounds. When you want 2 rounds, you want 2 barrels.
Yeah. Well, you can't hunt with more than 3 anyway. Especially if you're like bird hunting or that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, we'll shoot.
Federally anyway.
Oh, you can shoot, 3, but you can, shoot more depending on what you're shooting at, I guess. But
yeah, if you're like rabbit hunting or something, you could load it right up.
yeah, but that's the thing. Depending on what you're hunting, you can just keep loading. It's not that hard to load the shotgun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know what one. I think it went all the way up till Matt's chat. That's a pretty cool picture. Holy moly.
Wow.
Pretty neat. I didn't have no idea the pigeons were that big out by him. Big as a horse. Shit. He's got all kinds of creatures out there, it looks like.
Yeah, mourning dove.
That's the kind of stuff we go shooting at. And over where he lives at, too. Gary shooting a star.
Yeah, somebody had a good day. Of course, only 7 yards, so it's not that bad.
Texas taking his pup out. I've been thinking about labs again. I don't know. You like this purple green thing going?
No.
No.
Russ,
I never liked cars painted those colors either.
Yeah, just going nuts with the shiny colors. Russ grabbing a bunch of patches. Appreciate everybody who supports what we're doing with patches. If you buy anything while we're live, you'll hear a little cash registers down, by the way. We got a bunch of stuff over on eBay too as well. I haven't heard much from Smeggy since he quit the show, but looks like he stuck a pallet in the ground out by his place. This looks like he had a vehicle or something, huh? This looks more than just what you do with
Some kind of skidder, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a bucket loader.
Just fresh dirt. Maybe he had somebody deliver some dirt out there.
Looks like a scrape with the bucket.
But we'll never know because he doesn't ever join the show anymore. He hates guns. I think he built this for sunbathing or for playing with his remote control vehicles.
Yeah, I thought I remember seeing a video that he did with that, using that as a backstop.
Oh, back in years ago, he used to shoot his
Yeah.
when it comes in. Shit. Damn it, Smeggy. Now we got
right by it.
We were pretty close to the end.
You're pretty close, yeah.
Roll call did another one with a couple of the revolver patches. Giant Don't Tread on Me sticker, flag. I don't know what that thing is. Maybe a big mat like at a gun shop. One of them gun mats. And then Ghost. Where do you find this giant hill? I guess there's a hill in Arkansas.
It's probably the hill.
Nah, there's tons of hills in Arkansas.
Well, there are by the Mississippi border. Plenty of them up there.
SHOT Show 20-something, 2018. I wonder what that patch is. Then we got another one from Moon. That same background.
Yep, same background, yeah.
Travis looks like he has shirts. Oh, Ghost already got his shirt. All right, so that's the pictures over on the Instagrams using the hashtag Daily Gun Show. We appreciate everybody that uses the hashtag. We're up to almost 3,000 at this point. So now we'll look back and we'll judge them. So I don't know, we'll kind of scroll back here. And not a lot of puppies. Not very much orange, but Angelina's not here anyway. And I think a lot of them from Moon and from Chris this week.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I really like the two-tone with the nice lettering. That was pretty good. Yeah, I can't remember which one it was.
I hate to say it, but I would like to go with the 1022 with the thumbhole stock on the Glock knife.
Yeah, that was a pretty good looking gun too, actually. Hard to tell because it's a 1022. It might be a little small. At first I was thinking that was like a real gun, like a 700 or something, and that would have been a larger stock, and that would have been interesting to shoot. But it's a little bit angled here too, so I don't know. Sometimes that stuff's difficult to tell by looking. You have to put your hand in there. All right, so we got 2 votes. There's no puppies at all, right?
We just had the one. The black lab there.
I don't think we hit all these. Maybe those were from before. Oh, yeah, we did have that one. Not a lot of AKs. This one was kind of neat. Definitely a tough picture to get, too. 1 in a million type of thing.
Yeah, I would give him props for that one. That was pretty cool.
I think I'm gonna go with Russ's 1 in a million birds standing in the way of his horse picture. So that means it goes out to the audience. We'll see what everybody's saying out there. We got 29 people watching. The 17 that have thumbed it up, your votes count more than the other people's. Now we're watching over
Well,
here.
then I get an extra vote.
There you go. So, but we all voted, so don't worry. All right. Well,
Michael likes the 1022 on the knife. I don't see anything on YouTube.
No.
And DT Pfeiffer likes it too.
Oh, that's already 3 votes for that one. It's gonna.
Yep. And Steadley on YouTube likes the 22 also.
Nice. I wasn't the only one that liked that. That's crazy.
Yeah, you did good.
Different.
Too Hottie likes the bird. I'm pretty sure Too Hottie likes giving everybody the bird, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Maybe giving someone the bird. Yeah, exactly. All right,
that's good.
Do the history page over here, seeing what today is. It's the 4th. No, it's not. It's the 23rd already.
Today? Where you are, it is, yeah.
So we have Makarov's birthday was yesterday, the 22nd, and now I can go look over at the more boring of the histories. So this one's already on the 24th. Copernicus publishes proof of a sun-centered solar system. He died just after because the flat earthers got to him. 1543. 1543. Beginning of the flat dark earth theory.
I like my earth like I like my women, all curvy.
1624. After years of unprofitable operation, Virginia's charter is revoked and it becomes a royal colony. Interesting.
So you know how everybody complains about the way the people in Germany treated the Jews and all of that?
Yes.
In 1421, the Jews of Austria were all imprisoned and then expelled. So apparently they didn't have the idea first.
Does that mean killed?
No, they were expelled. They were thrown out of the state, the country. I mean.
1764, Boston lawyer James Otis denounces taxation without representation, calling for the colonies to unite in opposition to British new tax measures. 1764. That was today. Taxation without representation. That's the license plate in DC. It says that on their license plate. 1878, first bicycle race is held in Boston. And when was the first pistol match? Interesting. 1878. Jumping over to find out when that first pistol match. I think it was 1873, right? Everybody remembers the first pistol match was 1860. So 1860, Bite It bicycling is 18 years younger than shooting. So guns are better than bicycle. Willie Mays played, I don't care about that. Civil rights activist arrested in Jackson, Mississippi, 1961. Bunch of people born, nobody interesting. So,
Kit Carson died on the 23rd.
Why does that name sound familiar? Actor or real life?
Kit Carson, the American scout and frontiersman.
Okay.
He died at Fort Lyon, Colorado. Doesn't say why. Just said he died.
Army officer, became frontier legend. Left home at 16. Guided the Fremont Exposition to cover much of California, Oregon, and the Great Basin.
Wow.
Kit Carson Cemetery, New Mexico. Oh, well, it tells you what he died of here, but he aortic aneurysm.
Yep.
Right on. So yeah, that's valuable. That's a useful one. So again, if you're, we throw the history in there. If you're at the range or at the gun shop or at the gun show or something, so hopefully something gun related to talk about, so you don't have to be restricted to the news of the day. With that in mind, we'll move on to gun shop of the day. Anybody have a gun shop in mind?
I got one today. Just
Okay.
trying to make your life a little easier.
Sure. What do we got?
Let me hold on a minute. Let me share my screen because I already got it all set up.
Oh, right on.
At least I tried to anay. Let's see if I still have it out here.
Every day we try to feature new gun shops. That's why we do the show on a daily basis. So it's out in Connecticut.
No, this one's actually in Vermont.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name, but I'm sure it'll come up in one of these guys here. But this is a really cool little one in Brattleboro, and I really liked the sign on the door about talked about incessantly. I thought that was hilarious. Most of the older guns that are out here are okay. It's the Bennington Armory in Bennington, Vermont, and most of the firearms, older firearms out here, are part of the guy's personal collection. And he, sells, buys and sells and trades and stuff. So it's a really nooky little store. It's thin, but it's really deep, and lots of junk hanging on the walls and going on the walls and stuff. They have interesting, fun guns like this one laying around. So I enjoyed it. And you'll see you can see on the side there, they also have some, gear and stuff, tarps and, piece of shit that people dress up in and stuff. And every once in a while, you'll come across a little display like that has older or unusual guns. Usually they're related. They're pretty cool. They have nice little table and chairs and donuts and Wi-Fi and all kinds of good junk. You see more clothing on the racks on the upper corner there. So just a really nice little place. A microwave. There's coffee. I don't remember what was in the bags, but it was not contraband, whatever it was. So.
Does it say giant bags of cocaine in rabbit cages? That's weird.
Yeah. Well, those rabbits, you gotta keep them happy. I really enjoyed the gun, so I took a couple pictures of the gun. But so not only do they have the firearms, but they do have a lot of standard junk. And it's not like the crap you buy in the regular store. This is more like the stuff you get at an Army Navy surplus. So yeah. Pretty cool. And I think that's the last picture I took. But neat little place.
No problem. You went in there and said, "Hey, can I take a couple of pictures?" And they're like, "Sure."
Nope, they had no problem with that at all. Because they talk about them incessantly. They love it.
So
and it's open. 7. It's just not open Wednesdays or Sundays.
That's a weird hours, but at least it's 12 to 7. So right on. Have it actually be open. Nobody in their right mind opens their store at 9 a.m. Makes no sense to me. Stay open.
Well, there's nobody around. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm going to go to the gun shop before work. Stupid. Yeah. So, I guess if you're getting your work done, if you got a lot of, paperwork, just tons of paperwork to do in a shop. But anyway, I like that idea of 12 to 7. That makes it decent for your employees. They still get their days off. They get a weekend day. Anyway, so does one of those pictures makes it look like it's downstairs? Do you walk in and go down?
No. If you do, it's only a couple of steps.
Oh, okay,
that one right there. It's right there. I'm standing at street level here, and that what do you call it? That stuff on the floor on the bottom is I think there might be 1 or 2 steps down, but that's about it.
Okay, I just thought maybe it was in the basement.
Yeah, it is at the bottom of a much taller building. So the building is like a 3 or 4 story building, and this is like the first floor, a little wedgy part. But pretty cool.
The stairs there are going somewhere else then.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Where I live at, there's no sort of artistic ability like put into gun shops around here. Basically it's just a pile of guns, and they have like an artistic display set up, and that's pretty cool to walk into, I think. But
yeah, it's just a basic little place. They've got pictures of the area. You see all the pictures of the area up on the wall on the top near the ceiling, and those are all pictures of famous spots in Bennington, and like old buildings in the town and all that kind of junk. That's pretty neat. But I never even knew it was there. I've been driving by there for years and never even knew that gun shop existed, because it's just a little small, 15 or 20-foot wide entranceway. It's pretty cool. So anyway, so that's my gun shop, the Bennington Armory.
Right on. So
Bennington, Vermont.
That's the point of the show, is to talk about gun shops. So that is the kind of shop we want to talk about too. So any idea how long it's been there? Did you say?
Oh, probably 30, 40 years.
It looks like it's been there a bit.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I think there's something to that too. When someone sees something, there's got to be something to the culture, right? When you see a gun shop that's there and established and it's just part of the community, like that just, reinforces that guns are just part of us. When all the gun shops are gone, or they're all brand new, just little strip center type of operations with brand new signs, just a different feel to it. So I really like it when shops are like that. It's a good presence to have in the town, right? We did not do a gun of the day, so I guess Midnight could come up with a gun of the day out there since he brought it up. Potatoes is saying he works 12 to 7, so he'd never make it in there. Or no, he works an afternoon shift. He'd never make it in there. You work an afternoon shift? What are you talking about? You're working while they're there. Oh, I guess you see what you're saying. Go in on when? Oh no, you can't go in on Saturday then.
I don't know. When I worked the afternoon, well, I guess it was really the night shift. I worked from like 4 to midnight, so I would have still had a couple hours to get in there.
And when you work a 4 to midnight, that's not unusual to go somewhere. You are going places before work or on your way to work, and that's normal. When you go to work at 9 in the morning, you're not really stop by and do business on the way to work.
Yeah, that's how I started. The first job I ever, well, not the first job, but the job that I spent 43 years doing, the first time I started working there, I started working second shift. All good stuff.
And Knight refuses to give us a gun of the day, so I guess I don't even have a gun of the day.
Sent you an email for the gun of the day, a link to a wiki page.
I gotta go open up email. So it gave me a job to do. Thanks. It gave me something to deal with here. Gotta go click.
Nothing for nothing, I guess.
Click and click here. All right, finally. So I think it's fake. This is more of a bullet of the day, I guess. The 577 Tyrannosaur. But is this episode 577? So I guess that works out pretty good. Well, it's episode 578, but close enough.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
you can't see it. You're not sharing it.
Oh, I'm not?
No, now you are.
Oh, shit. Now I am again.
Yeah, I would like to see the gun that shoots that bad boy. Oh, you might have been showing it. I was looking at the wrong screen. I'm sorry.
In 93, a request for professional guides in Zimbabwe to escort clients hunting dangerous game for use in stopping rifles intended to stop the charge of dangerous game.
Is that double necked, or is there just a cannular around the bullet?
Yeah, there's just something around the bullet. That's just
a little thing on the thing on the top. The third line there is just a line in the bullet
this
itself.
Is a line in the bullet, but this is a wicked sharp.
That's,
what is it called? Crimp?
That's a tough neck. Yeah.
That's just a super sharp crimp, or deep crimp maybe. So I bet you the projectile has a deep. Is that a cantilever, that ridge in it?
Well, if the dinosaur kicks your gun, you don't want the bullet, coming out of the cartridge.
750 grains.
God damn.
But again, this is for like a water buffalo who hears you.
At 2,460 feet? God.
Yeah, 10,000 foot.
That thing is humping.
So again,
isn't that the gun you see all those dudes sitting in that? It's like an indoor shooting range, and it's like they're Middle Eastern. It's like blowing them back, and it's like getting the gun out from their shoulder. Is that the same round?
A lot of times these look kind of like over-under shotguns. They look like big single shot guns, so it could be.
Yeah.
I think if you fired that at an indoor range, you'd probably be picking it out of somebody's car.
Yeah.
For use in stopping rifles. Wow.
So again, if you got like a water buffalo or something charging you, you wanted
Yeah.
to stop it from killing you. I guess that's the idea. So
Cool.
pretty cool. Yeah, thanks. So
Oh, great pick for 577 show. Excellent.
Yep. All right. So what else do we got? I think we might have wrapped most of the stuff up. We talked a little bit about gun history. We talked about a gun shop today. Oh, we didn't do a movie. So running scared.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, because we were talking about movies where guns were used badly.
Okay. Yeah, we kind of did. We did. So
well, unless you want to do another one. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted.
No, that's fine. We have one in here, but all about recycling. So we just reused, reduced, and recycled it to another show, which is great. So that works out well. So that was episode 578. We appreciate everybody who joins us live. It's all about the effort in new media. When we have shit like what happened over the weekend, everybody's efforts out there in doing their things is what keeps that at bay from the repercussions from that at bay. So I appreciate everybody that turns into this and all the other gun related stuff that's out there. It's appreciated, and I think it's valuable. I've recently seen some stuff where they'll debate whether or not online activism is really activism or slacktivism. If it's an ineffective option that people can do from the comfort of their home and it has no consequence. And I'm curious to get some people together and have a conversation about that, because obviously being involved in it, I don't think that's the case, but I can understand why people would perceive it that way. But again, I think it's worth the effort, and I do appreciate people that join us live. Do appreciate you guys for jumping in. Without going through a transition here, I don't even know what's going on with the host. So again, everything's in flux. I appreciate everybody sticking with us through it and working on the two-way history project, which is making progress. So I'll keep people up to date on the Patreon updates once in a while with what's going on there. And it's Wednesday, so that means I got to take trash out tonight, but it also means tomorrow's Thursday. We'll probably be starting off the day with Early Watch with Tony and talking about whatever news of the day the Early Watch Nation comes up with. Then Knives or Pants or one of the others usually have some kind of a live chat. So if you want to participate in the conversation, you can do that pretty much 24 hours over on Gun Channel, starting out in the earlier morning. Then once you get to the midday, afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're in, you start seeing some of the live shows that come up on a weekly basis. We have a schedule at the top right corner of Gun Channels on any page that you're on, and it'll talk about the shows that are coming up tomorrow. On Thursdays, we have a bunch of shows actually, starting out with C4 Sarge does a show. Yankee will do a show every other week with me and Matt. Clover's got a show. Some other people have shows and they're not in the schedule, so we'll have to effort towards getting everybody else's shows in here. I know there's quite a few Thursday shows at this point. We'll be back tomorrow, every weeknight at midnight for this show. And Cycle, you got anything coming up? Anybody else?
No, I'm hopefully I'm going to go camping this weekend if things don't go too badly, and maybe I'll get my TV fixed. So we'll see. I don't think that's actually going to happen until next week, but guys coming over to look at it tomorrow. I already did all the diagnosis work. I don't know why you don't just bring the parts and fix it, but what can I tell you?
You got like actual just a repair job type of thing, like something's broken, it can be fixed?
Yeah, I did the diagnosis, and it's one of those LCD TVs, and the LCD strips are screwed up. The backlight strips are screwed up. LED, I'm sorry, the LED backlight strips are screwed up. I already checked the power supply and it's working properly and all that stuff. So I did that all ahead of time.
Yeah, I got one given to me that's huge. It's like half of my wall over here, and it's a TV, and it had an issue. So it's a known issue. The people that had it let me know. They already looked it up, and there was this little strip of power cable basically that went to these LED strips, because all the TV is a giant LED strip on top and a giant LED strip at the bottom, and a little computer brain stuck behind there somewhere. And the little power strip that went to the bottom LED kind of wrapped around this piece of metal that got hot, and it warped, eventually broke the little LED strip. It got hot and melted and short-circuited. And the fix is just to basically drill a little hole in this little piece of plastic, run the little plastic strip a different way. I literally just took it all apart, unplugged the little plastic flat strip, cut like an inch off of it, plugged it back in, drilled that little hole and routed the piece of ribbon so that it wasn't touching the metal, and it's been working fine ever since. So yeah, sometimes it's a repair job on some of these things. They're just, whenever they design crazy little flaw or something like that. And yeah, I got a problem is it's old, so it's but it's not HD, so it only plugs into old-fashioned computers.
Yeah. Pants wanted to know if I despot my TV. No, I've wanted to a couple times, but that's why I had to stop watching the news.
That would be a whole different repair.
Yeah. But it's just been the last couple of weeks. It's just been, the motorcycle died, the car threw a code, my chair in my office decided to go flat, so now I'm low in the chair. My TV died. It's just been a really rough couple of weeks here. Everything is just dying all around me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with my chair. I feel like I'm sitting on the floor with this little goofy chair where I normally like a taller one, but my chair died. All right, well, enough wallowing in the chair misery. Appreciate everybody that joined us tonight. Got a bunch of thumbs over there. Actually, we got almost as many thumbs as we got viewers, so we do appreciate that. I think it's worth the effort to remember to thumb up your gun-related stuff, so you're not just audience, you're actually influencing what's going on out there. I'll have to talk for a minute. Has anybody got a quote while I look up my buttons here?
I have one.
Go for it.
I really like Thomas Jefferson, so this one is from Thomas Jefferson in a letter he wrote to James Madison in 1787. What country can preserve its liberties if their rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms. So that's my quote for today.
A good one.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.